Welcome back to the Deep Dig Sports Pod. I'm your host, Drew. My other host, right over there.
What's up? It's D. Good to see you again this week. So we actually went to the 49ers Packers game. We're going to talk about that. Just a plethora of good football played this week. We're also digging into some basketball storylines as well from college and NBA. Before we dig into any of that, be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe. We are growing pretty quickly as a channel, so you're going to want to hop on board.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys coming along for the ride. But as for the fans that were at that 49ers game, this was the most fun I've had at a sporting event.
It was pretty hyped. And I think from the opening kickoff forward, it was just juice, 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 juice. Yeah, there was a lull there. I mean, the 49ers did not play their A game, obviously, but the crowd was just awesome, kept on it. Just like the players on the field, they were also slipping. I've seen multiple people fall and drop their beers disappointed. What a great experience, though. That's what you want when you're in a playoff atmosphere. Just the crowd was awesome.
Yeah, our section had a deadly spot right there on the stairs.
Yeah.
Where at least 5 people fell during the game coming down those steps. So they got to pop up the blue tent in the stands.
They did. Someone had to bring, they brought medical down at some point. It was wild. But anyway, what a great crowd. And then when the 49ers hit the go-ahead score, everyone lost their shit. I know me and you were jumping up and down. It was fucking crazy. People were hugging each other, high fives, people going over rows, like 2 rows over, like, oh, what's up? Let's go. It was awesome.
Yeah. And then the Drake Greenlaw interception at the end just really put it over the top. Everyone was jumping up and down, music going. It was crazy. It was insanity. It was so fun. But we'll see what happens this next week. But the Packers, they felt like they dominated 98% of that game.
It really felt like they were in control. They were in the driver's seat. And it really was the tale of 2 quarterbacks. And realistically, both of them had opposite trajectory. It feels like Brock Purdy starts off with a almost pick 6 that was just dropped. And his day was just bad to start with. As he got more comfortable, he got going. And then obviously he ends with a game-winning drive where he was damn near perfect. Jordan Love, on the other hand, felt really, really good coming out the gate, just comfortable, had a lot of throws where it was like, okay, Jordan Love is someone to be dealt with. But then as he got down the stretch, he really shit the bed. He had 2 picks, just didn't feel comfortable at all down that stretch. And so you feel like, all right, the talk of it is Brock Purdy was bad, but the talk should be like Jordan Love really fumbled the bag on that one. The Packers were in the driver's seat the entire time, and it felt like they really could have just put him away, and they didn't.
Yeah, Jordan Love had multiple opportunities to just drive down the field, get points. Even the last drive, I know everyone's tweeting about this Brett Favre-ass throw where he someone's down there. Turns out there's 2 49ers linebackers down there, and Drake Greenlaw picks it off. But terrible decision. And I think that was something that people were already handing the keys to Jordan Love of oh, he's a franchise guy. He's everything. And he looked really good. But this is where franchise guys make their legacy in these last moments. And he just really didn't come through at the very end. Not taking away anything. He had a great game. But when you do that on the last drive, Brock Purdy didn't throw a pick on the last drive. He actually hit consistently all his throws on the last drive. So we can talk all this we want about Brock Purdy can't throw in the rain. Brock Purdy had a bad game. At the end of the day, he came through when needed and won the game. And that's what franchise quarterbacks do.
And realistically, just good teams overcome. And we needed to see this 49ers team have the ability to come back, to win when it wasn't their A game, when it was more of a C to almost D game. And realistically, they came through. The defense was bend but didn't break. The offense ended up figuring it out and making plays when they needed to make plays. A crazy Chris Conley, after we talked all that shit, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, Chris Conley caught a pass when you needed it most. Juwan Jennings stepped up and looked good. Brandon Ayuk had some crazy catches, one over the middle where I was like, what the hell? He had to dive for it. So the one thing is like, Kyle, we know that this is not a good run defense. Why are we not running the rock more? We should be getting more people involved. I know Debo went down, but yeah, I mean, just to stick on Purdy, Purdy did it. Purdy made the plays when he needed to make plays, and you get away with a win. You come from behind, you get a win, and I think this is one of those wins where it's like, okay, we did everything wrong. We did everything to lose this game, and we still won it. What can we do now moving forward? And I think this is a team that's gonna. I'm thinking Super Bowl win. I'm thinking Super Bowl win.
Yeah, I think there's games like this where shit's clearly going wrong. Like it's hitting the fan, offense isn't moving the ball, defense is getting ran on. But when you are that close to winning still, and then you eke it out, you just forget this whole game because it's like, okay, yeah, we struggled, we didn't look good on most of that game, but you know what happened? We won. And you just like erase that from your mind. You move on. You're like, that's not us. It was a tough playoff atmosphere. And we have more on tape that this team is elite than more on tape that this team is that team that was there against the Packers.
Yeah, exactly. And so I feel good about it. I think, again, you don't feel like, damn, we're world beaters, but hey, good teams just find a way to get wins, just gritty wins. Let's dog it out. And we got some dogs on this team. We got some championship pedigree guys that are all hungry for this chip. And you end up making the plays. And that's what the Packers just did not do down this stretch.
Yeah, and there's, I mean, things we can question going forward. I mean, Debo, hurt shoulder. They said he's 50-50 for the next game. Kyle Shanahan, when one of your all-stars go down, all of a sudden you struggle to put a game plan together, like to change tactics. That is something that concerns me because if Debo goes in next game and then he ends up stepping out, what's going to happen? Because you also have McCaffrey, you have Ayuk, you have Kittle. That should be enough to make this offense go. And it just didn't look like that for most of the game. Brock Purdy, obviously, he struggled most of the part of the game. The secondary struggled against Jordan Love. The D-line didn't get any sacks, right?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, so a lot of bad from this game, but I do believe that it was just a tough game. The Packers were hitting on all cylinders, and we weathered the storm. We Moody is another concern, but going forward, I don't think a lot of these are really going to be top of mind for me. I think we could put it together.
Yeah, at the end of the day, what's important is the dub. You got it. Again, this isn't college football where you need to make it pretty. You have to blow people out in order to get to the championship. You just got to win, survive in advance, and that's what this 49er team did.
Yeah, and going around the league, a lot of these pundits online. So I'd never heard so much Brock Purdy hate all this year. I feel like so many people were waiting for him to have a bad game. And I mean, even if you look at it, he didn't have an interception. He threw for over 200 yards, and he won the game on a last-second drive, on a fourth quarter go-ahead drive. But now he's getting shit on more than he ever has. What's going on with these people saying Brock Purdy's not the guy anymore?
I think it's a combination of, well, look at Jordan Love visually. Like if you watch that game, Jordan Love had a better overall game, 100%. And on top of that, people are just hating on the 49ers. Like I think if you look at the consensus online, nobody besides 49ers fans want the 49ers to win that game. They don't want them in the Super Bowl. They want them to lose to – they wanted them to lose against the Packers. They want them to lose against the Lions. And so I think that's just like the culmination of, okay, this guy whose story was hyped up this entire season goes out there and, quote unquote, lays an egg in the most important game of the season. But you have to take into account his whole body of work. His whole body of work, he's been pretty fucking good. So let's go ahead and put that to bed. I think next week, there's not going to be rain. They're going up against a Detroit Lions team that their secondary is not good. Their defense has not been good. It's been streaky. They just gave up 23 points to Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is not Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is much better than Baker Mayfield. And so I think the haters are going to take their victory lap and say, like, hey, look at this bad game by Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy is just going to take it in stride and have a good game against this Detroit Lions team.
I love your argument that it's heinous because they ain't us. Is that what you're saying for the Brock Purdy and the 49ers haters?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's weird. It's just coming. A lot of people have that take on Brock Purdy that he is not elite. He's not a great quarterback. He's getting carried. And like Ryan Clark went on SportsCenter and said, I had to pretend all season that I believed in what Brock Purdy was doing. And now that everyone can see, then I can go back to my take that he's not real. And it's like,
well, then why didn't you have that take in the beginning?
Yeah,
if you're going to stick with your take, why don't you stand on business?
If you're going to stick with it, just stick with you don't believe in what Brock Purdy's doing. But you can't say that. You couldn't say that all season because he was the leader for the MVP race for almost the whole season. I mean, like I said before, we have more on tape that Brock Purdy is really good at what he does than we have bad tape on Brock Purdy. So I'm going to believe what we've seen a majority of, that Brock Purdy is good. I mean, I think Brock Purdy is top 5 quarterback in the league right now. And just because he had a bad game, I don't think the Niners are panicking at all.
No, 100% they're not. And I think we see it, like, I think people just love to hate. And I think we're even seeing it with CJ Stroud. Everyone's blowing CJ Stroud last week. This week, they lose against the Ravens. And I'm seeing that, the meme where the dude's running back with the pass, and he's like, oh, throws a sidearm. They're like, that's CJ Stroud when he doesn't have yak. And it's like, what the fuck? We all were consensus that CJ Stroud next year is going to be in MVP talks. Like, what's going on here?
But here's the weird thing with Brock. He won the game. Like, people are getting a hate pass. Like, everyone's like, yeah, it's cool to hate on Brock Purdy right now, but he's not meeting the criteria. Like, they every complaint was, yeah, he hasn't done it in crunch time. He hasn't done it in a critical moment. He hasn't had a comeback drive to win it. He did all of that this game, and he won the game, and people are hating on him like he lost. Like we're going to Cancun right now.
Yeah, we're not the fucking Dallas Cowboys. Like, this is in a 2-year career, he has taken the San Francisco 49ers to the NFC Championship game. Dak Prescott cannot hold Brock Purdy's cock, bro. Like, you can't compare him to one of these sub-tier guys. He is better than both of them. He is leading this team. And everyone wants to say, like, okay, well, he has good players around him. Every team has good players around them. Every team. This is the NFL. They are all professional teams.
Yeah, what do you want him to do? Like, hey, trade away some of these guys so I could do it on my own. Like, what do we do? We're praising teams who build good teams, but now that they built a good team and they have a good quarterback, we're taking away from that.
Yeah,
I don't know what you want.
That is also the perk of having a rookie quarterback. That's why Jalen Hurts and the Eagles are going to struggle for the next few years. That's why Patrick Mahomes has to deal with subpar wide receiver play. They had Tyreek Hill. They had to give him away because they could not pay him. You just look around the league, and that's what people are doing. They are benefiting from rookie quarterbacks. And if you don't, and you have to pay a guy a la Dak Prescott, you have to take pieces away and you have to build it around them. Whereas with Brock Purdy, they have good players because they have a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, I think my takeaway from this, I'm not gonna, dwell on how bad he looked at times during this game, because you know what? I saw the Chris Conley pass that he made. I saw the Brandon Ayuk third down pass. I saw the Kittle touchdown that he threw. These are plays that I've seen him do multiple times now, and I think he could do it consistently, and I think he could do it in a Super Bowl. So I'm not going to really buy into the hate. And here's the thing about him winning that game. Next week, he has a chance to erase everything that people are saying. As long as he keeps winning, then all that, they could just be talking into the ether. Like, it doesn't matter. He's going to be winning. We're going to be going to a Super Bowl. That's it. End of story.
Yeah, and that's fine with me. Shit.
Like, I'll take a shitty quarterback and a run to the Super Bowl. Like,
well, everyone compare him, like, go back to, like, oh, are we watching Jimmy Garoppolo 2.0? No.
No.
I watched every game of the Jimmy Garoppolo era. Never did this offense look as good as it does with Brock Purdy under center.
Are you
And I
telling
think
me Jimmy would have made that touchdown throw to Kittle?
no,
No.
100% no.
No. Well, I mean, you guys let us know what you think about Brock Purdy. I think he's our guy. I think he's a top 10, top 5 quarterback right now. But you guys let us know how you're feeling. The Lions beat the Buccaneers this weekend. I mean, it got a little
testy.
stuff, you know. Bucks put up a fight. They came to play. They started off slow, ended up putting their offense together. Baker threw for a lot. I think he had 3 touchdowns. I mean, Baker looked pretty good. And that defense that secondary, like you're saying, the Lions secondary started to get exposed a little bit. How are we feeling about the Lions-Bucks game?
I mean, the Bucks team got depleted on defense as that game went through. Injury after injury. I'm not crazy. I think the 49ers blow out the Lions. Like, I think that happens on Sunday. I think that the 49ers are going to beat them. As far as this team or this game, the Bucks versus the Lions, it was a good back and forth game, just good football. I think I really like both their running backs. I think both David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs are dynamic. I like their wide receivers. It just comes down to me is like, can the defense hold up on their end? And can Jared Goff finally get over that hump of the 49ers? Because we know if we want to talk about who has who, Jared Goff is owned by the 49ers. They own him. We've seen a lot of him. This is not a guy that they are scared of at all. Can he overcome this 49ers team?
Yeah, I don't know if he can do it. Watching the Lions in recent weeks, I think they're playing really good, but they don't scare me as much as they did earlier in the season when that offense was just so explosive. I think the defense was making enough plays. Now I feel like 49ers can throw on them. McCaffrey could get in there. Jared Goff in this offense, I feel like it's streaky. They're explosive, but they have explosive plays. They're not like the Dolphins earlier in the season where it was like consistently explosive. Like, we're going to put up 50. Like, they're going to put up 21, but it's going to be off 3 or 4 explosive plays. And that doesn't scare me as much with this 49ers defense.
Yeah, and I think just kind of looking at it, this Bucks team was playing like they were playing on their last legs. They barely won their division. Everyone was kind of like, all right, can the Bucks really win this? And they gave it a really good run for their money. I give Baker credit on that. Again, Brock Purdy is better than Baker. This offense is a all-around better offense than what the Buccaneers rolled out. And this defense is better than what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had. So I just don't see this Detroit Lions team going to Levi's and taking a win. I just don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I had to choose any of the teams to go through right now, like the Lions would have been up there for me for the 49ers to beat in the NFC Championship game. Like, great story. Everyone's loving Detroit right now, but I think this is where it comes to an end for them. I don't think they match up well against the 49ers.
Yeah, I think we're going to see, like, again, I think the 49ers are becoming like a heel in this league. I think that everyone really wants the Detroit Lions to go to the Super Bowl. They don't want to see the 49ers in it. I think we're going to see as this week starts to build up, more and more people start to just root for the Lions and openly just shit on the 49ers. And I'm looking forward to them being shut up on Sunday.
I mean, only time will tell. We'll see on Sunday. The other side of things, the Bills and the Chiefs game. Crazy game. I mean, just to start that game, it was like almost fumble. And then Josh Allen is throwing a lateral as he's running 10 yards.
Yeah, that was cool.
Like, this game was, all the flashiness, all the hype was real for this game. But Chiefs ended up getting it another wide right for the Bills. Josh Allen had a couple of deep throws that didn't land. Stephon Diggs dropped an important one. Are the Bills just perpetually not as good as the Chiefs? or does it come down to decision making? Do you think they get lucky one year and hit it, or like what do you think is going on with this Bills team not getting over the hump of the Chiefs?
I think that like we heard about this run game. Hey, this is going to be a different game because they finally got James Cook going. And then when push come to shove, like down the stretch, they didn't really use James Cook. They really relied on Josh Allen. And I don't know if that's a product of the OC being like, hey, I'm just going to rely on this guy, or if Josh Allen making those different, like, hey, you know what? I got it. I got us, guys. I got us here. I will get it. And I really wish he would have shared some of the load with the running backs. Like, I think that would have been more effective against this Kansas City Chiefs team. And it really hurts that some of your bigger, like higher ticket guys in Stephon Diggs and Von Miller. Von Miller made no difference whatsoever, but you're paying him premium price. Like what is, I don't think he had a sack all season. I don't think he had the entire season. I don't think he had
He was
one
banged up. He was injured a lot.
But still, you're paying this guy premium money. And so you just got to look internally and be like, all right, well, as the Buffalo Bills, what do we do? Where do we move from here? Because are we just going to run it back? Sean McDermott, is this the guy to take us to the next level? Is Stephon Diggs worth being here? Like, do we need to maneuver him around and take him somewhere else and get a guy who's more consistent? Because as we were seeing it, he dropped the big one, but Josh Allen was just more comfortable with his other receivers.
Khalil Shakur was the best receiver for the Bills.
Yeah, and he was banged up.
Yeah.
He was coming off the sideline just like holding. So it's just one of those things like, what can they do? I mean, they're a good team. They ran into a powerhouse in Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. But this was, if they were going to beat the Chiefs, it was going to be this week at home. The Chiefs had been underachieving all season. This was your time to strike, and you just don't do it. So now, where do you maneuver from here? Like there's a lot of question marks coming out of Buffalo. I just don't know what you do.
My whole thing that I said before the game, and I think it's perfect. It's what happened. Josh Allen plays hero ball too much. He is running the ball. Cook is not getting the ball. In these important games, James Cook just disappears because Josh Allen's running it. But not even that. When they got in field goal range to end the game, Josh Allen had Stephon Diggs wide open to get a first down.
Yeah, instead he's looking in the end zone.
Yeah, and he throws a duck. He throws it not even close to Shakir. And then the next play, all right, third down. Maybe there's a minute, almost 2 minutes left. We're looking for the end zone again. There's 3 guys doing crossing routes that you could hit, and they could try to run for the first. They're going to be pretty close already when they catch it. And that's just the game plan to me. It just doesn't make sense a lot of the time for the Bills. Like in these crucial moments, they're almost like Mike McCarthy, like making bad decisions in critical moments. Why are we throwing it 80-yard bombs 5 times in a row, like trying to hit something against this Chiefs defense that they just want to pin their ears back and rush you? Like we can capitalize on that and get some quick throws. Let's play in the middle of the field, but they just refuse to do that. They're like, we're going to run the ball with Josh Allen and we're going to throw bombs. And if those don't work, then we're losing. And like, you have to have different plays for that. Especially that none of these deep throws were hitting. Yes, it was impressive. Josh Allen hit Stephon Diggs in the hands fucking 70 yards down the field. But that's like not a great play call when you're throwing. That's like your 5th one on the drive, throwing it 80 yards. Like he's just chucking them down there.
I mean, he has a cannon. And if you're Stephon Diggs, you do got to catch it. You underachieved all season. We're paying you for this moment, and you fucking miss it. So, yeah, I understand that. And honestly, I like the play call on that, but I get what you mean. You got to mix it up. We've got to figure something out. It can't be just boom or bust when we're trying to put together a game-winning drive.
If we're running 4 verts every play, let me be the offense coordinator because I'll just call that every time like Madden. Like,
yeah. And I just don't know. Like, it seemed like this year the team prior to the win streak, because I mean they came in the hottest team in NFL. They were tired of Sean McDermott. I don't know if they make a move to try to get a more offensive guy or what they do at the OC position, but they're going to have to do something. And maybe Josh also needs to be sat down and talked to and like, hey, we cannot have it just be boom or bust. Like, you got to take the check down every once in a while. You've got like you were saying on that, what was it, for the first down where he missed it in the end zone?
Yeah, it was a second down on that last drive.
Yeah, second down there, he misses the wide open crossing route when he should. You just got to, again, if you score, even if you were to hit that, Patrick Mahomes has so much time to drive it on you, and we've seen him do it in way less time. So it's like, hey, come on here, have some situational awareness, know where you're at on the field, know who you're going against. Let's just get the first down. Let's eat some more clock, and let's run the ball.
Yeah, so situationally, you're just asking Patrick Mahomes, like the best quarterback in the league, to come back and drive on you to win the game.
Yeah.
So bad decision all around.
How about on the Chiefs end? What do you think worked well for the Chiefs, or why do you think the Chiefs now are advancing to yet another AFC Championship?
The Chiefs won because, unlike the Bills, they adapted their game plan as they saw the game going on. Mahomes did not throw to win this game. It was, he threw touchdowns, but Pacheco in that run game, when they saw that was working, you know what? We're going to run the ball with Pacheco, and we're going to eat. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's running for 10 plus on a carry. Like, to adapt your game plan to do what's working well, it was almost like the Chiefs are maneuvering their game plan, and they're like, oh, well, whatever you guys do to counter it, then we'll change our game plan to counter it. And the Bills just never did anything to counter it. Yeah. I mean, you heard it during the broadcast constantly where they're saying, obviously the Chiefs have keyed in on what the Bills defense is doing. And then multiple times they're saying they know something about the Bills defense that they feel good about. And the Bills defense just never changed. And that same thing with their offense. They just stuck to the game plan. It was like, throw it with Josh Allen, run with Josh Allen. Mahomes is good because he doesn't have to be the hero. Yeah. He just wants to win. And he can be the hero. He's really good, but he doesn't have to be every game.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, this was a prime Isaiah Pacheco game. Like, these are the games that Isaiah Pacheco was made for. It was crazy to see how effective he was in this game.
Yeah, he's going to be.
I think moving forward.
They're talking about Roquan versus Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah, that's going to be a matchup. Like, I'm so excited for this Sunday. We have this is the best way it could have shaped out, if I'm going to be honest with you. The NFL scriptwriters really did get this right. I feel amazing about both these matchups, and I think this Ravens versus Chiefs game is going to be just a heavyweight fight, just going back and forth. I'm excited to see Lamar versus Mahomes on this field. I'm excited to see these running backs go against each other. These defenses are both very stout defenses. I'm so pumped.
It's going to be a crazy game. Out of both the games, I think this one is going to be the better game. It should be fireworks. It should be just like Bills Chiefs. It should be highlight after highlight after highlight. And I think Lamar can win it.
You say Damar Hamlin? The fake punt, Damar?
What do you think about the theory that the Bills wanted Damar to have a redeeming moment, like a big moment in the game, to justify the Comeback Player of the Year award for the NFL?
I mean, do it in like week 11 when no one gives a shit. Like, what the fuck? Why are you doing it in the playoffs, bro? I just don't get it. I don't get it. I seen just a bunch of memes about it. I don't get that play call in that moment.
And then they got lucky that it got fumbled through the end zone, because the Chiefs were on there. They were going to score.
Yeah.
And I know we're going back to the Chiefs game, but if you look at what happened on each drive, the Chiefs punted once in that game. Every other drive ended in a score. One of them ended going into half, and the other one where they needed out. Every other drive ended in a score, and there was one punt. Yeah. And that should tell you everything that you need to know right there about the Bills team.
Yeah.
Defense ain't getting younger.
It's not. I mean, again, Von Miller. What are you doing, bud?
But as far as the Ravens Chiefs, Ravens do have a younger unit. Their defense is looking good. I'm already seeing the Travis Kelce versus Kyle Hamilton takes. Like that's gonna be a good matchup. Their corners are good. Their linebackers obviously are good. And then Lamar is running all over the place. So I think it's gonna be really like who has the ball last.
Yeah. I'm expecting this one to be a barn burner.
Yeah. Well, you guys let us know in the comments what you guys think about that Ravens Chiefs game. We're going to talk about some basketball to end the show today. I saw a tweet going around saying because there's a lot of hype about EA doing the college football game. They want a college basketball game. So people were saying if the college basketball game dropped right now, who would be on the cover? And it kind of sparked this conversation that like there's not really any stars in college basketball right now. And people were saying Caitlin Clark probably deserves to be on the cover, but I mean, I don't think basketball fans would like it. Do you think that's justifiable? Like, she is the best player in women's college, but I think hot take, she's one of the best players in college basketball in general.
Yeah, I think so. I think that she is, as of right now, the face of college basketball. I think that she's the most famous college basketball player as of right now. I think that she's the best college basketball player of right now. And I think college basketball just has a real problem because everyone who's good goes immediately to the NBA. They have a star problem. No one sits anymore for 3-4 years and actually like carves out a name for themselves or gains national notoriety. Yeah, you can do it on the local level, but you're not having these names pop up every single week where you're like, damn, I got to key in because so-and-so is playing this not ranked team. I got to know how he's going to do. You just don't see that as of right now. As far as Caitlin Clark, did you see the video?
Yeah, I would say before Caitlin Clark is so good that LSU put together a super team to beat her, and no one is talking about that team.
Yeah.
A regular guy who watches basketball knows who Caitlin Clark is. Can they name the girl that transferred to LSU that is there to help beat Caitlin Clark?
Yeah.
Don't think so. And yeah, Caitlin Clark is so big right now. She's over here bumping into fans, and it's a news story.
Yeah, I mean, we got to stop storming the court. I mean, I know we've done it for hundreds of years.
This is all the times where men storm the court, but in a women's basketball game is where we end the storming the court. Is that what you're saying? Is women can't storm courts?
This is fucking egregious. This is a national tragedy. How could a fan run onto the court and just assault Caitlin Clark like that?
The men's league would never do it. The men's league would never storm the court and bump into a player like that.
Bro, but have you seen the alternate view where it's like from the front cam like up? She hella flopped. She flopped like a motherfucker.
She did a LeBron. She did a whoa. Yeah. Did they say? I think they tried to say she got hurt after that. She was injured.
There's no way. There's no way that she got hurt. But yeah, I mean, I think, well, one, that was like that woman who Caitlin Clark ran into was like the villain for like a full day before the alternate camera angle came out. And now it's like, all right, well, Caitlin Clark's a fucking flopper. What are we talking about here?
This article from Athlon Sports. There was initial concern that Caitlin Clark suffered a serious injury from the collision, possibly even a concussion.
No.
But sounds like she's going to be okay. In the post-game press conference, Caitlin Clark says she is okay after getting run during the court storm. So
no, not at all.
But, I mean, this is what I think it's a broader discussion where these type of things that happen to regular NBA players or regular or men's college basketball players would be like big stories. And Caitlin Clark is so big that now this is a national story that these things are happening. It's not just something you saw on Twitter like scrolling. Like, this is a national story.
Yeah, I mean, again, she is the biggest name in college basketball as of right now. It's her and then Bronny James.
Yeah. And like I wonder, is she gonna be big enough to put the WNBA on the map?
The WNBA just has a problem creating stars and then moving the rosters around in order to fit their oncoming rookies. It's actually pretty crazy. That's a whole nother like issue in itself.
So
There's not enough roster spots for the young talent that you've actually built up through the game of college basketball. Instead, they go and play overseas and then make it back to the WNBA after their star has faded. It's kind of ridiculous where you should just be moving these older basketball players to make room for the people that you are just coming off of 4 years of being in the tournament, being like not household names, but being recognizable names. WNBA just has a problem in general.
yeah, I mean, and then the other side, the men's college basketball, Bronny James is getting covered every second. I mean, he can't take a shit without ESPN dropping what's going on with his stats. And it is a huge story. You know, LeBron James kid, he had a heart attack. He comes back, had a couple bad games, but he's, you know, getting better. The Pistons, it raises the question, are the Pistons tanking for Bronny James or are they taking for Caitlin Clark? People are wondering. They were like, why are the Pistons tanking? Is it for Caitlin? But, you know, jokes aside, what do you think about this coverage of Bronny where he hasn't really put up the numbers in college? Like, take it with a grain of salt because he's coming off that heart attack. He hasn't put up like huge numbers to, I think, justify this amount of coverage. But because he's LeBron James' son, they're following his every movement.
Yeah, and I think we had listened to a conversation from Mostly Sports where they were talking about Bronny James, and they were like, hey, well, this is a high recruit. This is his freshman year. He was a McDonald's All-American, and he had a heart attack in like preseason workouts, and he's playing in the regular season. Like that would have been a big story no matter what. I think he would have been covered no matter what. I mean, because what he's doing is, you know, I mean, he's coming from adverse conditions. So of course he would have been covered regardless. The fact that it is LeBron James Jr. obviously adds just, you know, fuel to the fire, but I think he would have been covered regardless. As far as like Bronny James, his collegiate career, I think that he should be a guy who stays for 2 or 3 years at USC, continues to get better. And I think we're going to start to see that moving forward. I mean, he's actually really good. Like, just despite being, it's just because he's LeBron James' son. No, like he's actually a really good player, and he would have been a really good prospect regardless. I think that he's a guy who could use the 2 to 3 years to really hone in his game, find his notch, and then get drafted pretty highly, probably lottery after that third season.
Yeah, he plays great defense. He has great instincts. He can shoot. He can dunk. Like, I think he is going to be a really good player in the NBA, but not next year. I think he needs to cook in college for another year, maybe 2 years, and he's going to be really something special. And I think honestly, it would be great for college basketball. It'd be great for basketball in general that he's kind of flipping the script and staying in college for a few more years to get better and to, you know, build up that USC program. That'd be interesting to see USC actually go up into the tournament and get into that Final Four, get into a championship game.
Yeah, exactly. And just like how we were talking about, the women's college basketball has a problem transitioning stars to the WNBA. The men's league has the opposite, where they can't build stars because people are either transferring, going straight to the NBA. Like, they just can't build any true rivalries anymore. Now we have this rivalry between one woman, Caitlin Clark, and the whole LSU team. We don't have any like true rivalries besides like, oh yeah, well, we already have built up. Everyone hates Duke, like just shit like that. But like, no teams, because guys are rotating in and out all the time constantly, and we're not seeing these stars anymore that stay for 3-4 years and create a true rivalry, really hone in their game, and stay at the top. And who knows, maybe with the NIL, this becomes more prevalent. Like Bronny James could make a killing just staying in college, honing his game, making NIL money, right?
Yeah. He's like him and Arch Manning.
Yeah.
Could save college sports. Not that they need to be saved, but
I think like again, there is going to be a point where it's going to be, hey, rather than if I'm not Chet Holmgren, if I'm not Victor Wembanyama, I'm going to stay because I could really make a name for myself, one at this town, at this school, make really good money in NIL, and then be a better prospect once I transfer over to the NBA because I have all of this behind me.
yeah, and look at guys like who was it? Brandon Pojemski. He played 48 games in college. He's coming out looking really good for the Warriors. Hawkes for Miami. He played, I think, all 4 years at UCLA. I think there's a lot of benefits to being that 4-year guy. You're not going to get looked at like a top 5, top 10 pick most of the time because they're like, well, you took 4 years to develop. You're a little bit older. But to the good organizations, they really like those guys to come in and perform immediately. And those are the guys who end up being 10, 15-year guys.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a bunch of guys in the second round, basically a throwaway now, and they probably came out early. So it's like, okay, well, why wouldn't I stay at this big school where I'm going to be the big man on campus? I'm going to be on national TV. And when the tournament comes, I'm going to be able to shine year in, year out.
I already know when tournament time comes around, the big name that's going to be on everyone's. I mean, Bronny would be cool, but this guy, you seen the highlights of this guy, Kisei Tominaga from Nebraska?
No, I haven't.
Dude, deadly 3-point shooter. He's from Japan. This guy is going to put on in the tournament. Like, watch, he's going to be a highlight reel.
All right, I'm ready for it. I'm ready. I haven't done my big college basketball ramp up yet, but I'm going to get started. Once these playoffs are over, I'm going.
I'm going to send you a couple of videos of this guy. You're going to be on Nebraska. But moving into the NBA, let's move to Bronny's father, LeBron James Sr.
Mr. James.
The Lakers, they're in the 9th spot right now. They are looking to trade for a guard. They've decided now, well, I know LeBron likes to say that he doesn't trade his teammates, but LeBron and the Lakers have decided for sure D'Angelo Russell's getting traded. They're done with him. He's a guard that, averages 16 and 6. He shoots almost 50%, and that's kind of what they're looking for. So people are kind of questioning, like, what's going on with this team? If you look at D'Angelo Russell's last couple games, 34 points, 20 points, 29 points, 14, then 39 points. Like, the guy could play, and he consistently gets shit on by this Laker organization. What do you think is going on in LA right now? I know they're talking about firing Darvin Ham. What's with this mess?
Yeah, I just don't think that. Well, obviously they don't have the pieces. They're trying to figure out what works between LeBron, AD, and Austin Reeves. That's your big 3 right there. But they're trying to put some pieces together. They just don't have the chemistry. They just don't have it. And so they're like, okay, where do we turn to and who's our scapegoat? You got to find a scapegoat. The scapegoat seems to be D'Lo. And so it's like, okay, we got to ship this guy out here. Once we ship this guy out here, just like it was Russell Westbrook. Hey, we have a guy. Once we get rid of him, all our problems are going to be fixed. We're going to be much better as a unit. We're going to be more cohesive. We're going to be better at scoring. We're going to be better at all this. But I just don't think that's going to be the fit. I don't think one player is going to be a fix for the Lakers. And if I'm going to be honest, LeBron James might be moving on after this season with the Lakers. I think he's getting tired of it. I think they're getting tired of it. I think that he might be looking for his next destination.
Yeah, I know everyone this week is talking about how Anthony Davis has played a lot of games in this last year. I think he's tied for the most games played in the last 365 days or whatever. But the roster just isn't good enough. And LeBron is at an age now where he can't just carry these guys all the way to a championship. He can win some playoff games and win a couple rounds, but to win a championship, he needs some help. Now, I think what they're trying to do is like move almost like horizontally, but like, oh, maybe we go up a few steps. Like the moves they're trying to make minuscule moves to like push enough in the right direction, and it just seems like it's not going to be enough. They want to trade for DeJounte Murray. I mean, he's good. I think they were going more for names at this point.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be that much of a difference maker in this system for this team that puts them over the top.
Yeah, and I just don't think they have enough piece. Like realistically, in the past, they would have went superstar shopping. Who can we get to come in here and be that third star? Now they've had to move because they've shopped around so much stuff. They don't have a whole lot of pieces to put together to make a superstar trade. So now it's like, okay, DeJounte Murray, that's the best guy on the market. Let's go ahead and just let's get him. And even then, I don't think that's going to be enough to fix this Lakers team.
Yeah, that's the thing is like they used to be like, let's trade for a star. Now they don't have the ammo to trade for a star. Now they're like, who's the biggest name? Who's the best name we could get right now? And hope that it puts the Band-Aid on this team. And I don't think it's going to be much of a difference between D'Lo and DeJounte Murray. And even it's going to be harder because the Hawks don't want D'Lo. They're looking for a third team to dump him off. I know I just seen that the Lakers are going to try to make a trade for Bruce Brown, who just got traded to the Raptors, I believe, in that that deal. I mean, that'd be a good move for them, but even then, he is a role player. Like, he's not a star.
Yeah, maybe you look at like Terry Rozier, someone like that, who is explosive, who can make a lot of his own offense. But I don't think he fits what they do as far as LeBron and AD. So it's going to be pretty tough, dude.
They've really boxed themselves in with this roster. And the fact that they don't want to move off of Austin Reeves, where it's like, come on, like really, Austin Reeves is going to be your building block for the next 5-6 years. That's where you're sticking your gun. That's where your hill that you're going to die on is Austin Reeves.
Yeah. And so I think, again, like the way they've built it, they have to have one specific puzzle piece, and that puzzle piece is not out there in the NBA to be had right now. It's just not.
Trade LeBron?
No, I mean, you can't do that. You can't. Unless he asks for a trade, you can't do it.
I mean,
I would trade Anthony Davis before I trade, but they already went and they're like, we're not going to, like, they've made it multiple times that this is going to be their building block for after the LeBron era.
I'm sure if you said LeBron James is on the market, a lot of teams would give you some pretty good offers. Like, would you do LeBron for Jaylen Brown right now? If I'm the Lakers, I'm like, here, take him. I'll take Jaylen Brown and AD.
I don't know. Again, LeBron's not going anywhere unless LeBron wants to.
Yeah.
So you have to not only entice them, but then is LeBron going to be like, no, I don't want to, and or if you're going to fucking trade me, they're going to give up nothing.
Yeah.
We've seen that with Bradley Beal. Hey, like, I don't want to go, like, I don't want to get this roster depleted, and they still depleted the roster. So
yeah. Really quick, last thing. Is Wemby the rookie of the year? Wembanyama?
I think so. Although I will give this caveat, Chet Holmgren is a monster. Chet is so good. And I was like, there's no way this skinny kid is going to be able to do the same things that he was doing in college. Honestly, he looks better. He looks even better now. And I love Chet. Like, I'm a big Chet Holmgren fan now. I think that he's awesome. If Victor Wembanyama just didn't exist, it's obviously Chet. But Victor Wembanyama is a whole freak. He is just crazy. And I think that he is going to be the face of the NBA in 3 years' time.
That matchup is going to be legendary. If the Spurs can get rid of some of these guys who like want to put up 20 points, want to put up 30, like I only want role players on this team with Wembanyama. He's the face.
Dude, I was seeing that there's rumors that Trey wants to
Yeah,
team up with Wembanyama.
that would be a
That
nasty
would be
conversation.
a very, very fucking good compliment to Wembanyama. You have big ass Victor Wembanyama, and he could just kick it out to Trey. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Spurs right now have 8 wins. They're last in the West. Thunder 29 wins. They're a game back on the 1 seed. If the Spurs in a couple years can get into the playoffs and that matchup happens, that is going to be amazing for basketball. That like these two guys can especially with Thunder. Like Thunder have built they can build a dynasty right now with the young talent they have and all those picks.
Yeah,
Like Shea MVP level. I think Chet could be MVP level at some point. And then
100%. Yes.
Jalen Williams is there. They got Josh Giddey.
Ugh.
So yeah, that matchup between Wembanyama and Chet is going to be amazing for years to come.
Yeah, and
Just got to get there,
so
Spurs.
unless there's an injury, Wembanyama is going to get the rookie of the year. Chet, that sucks that he didn't get his rookie year. He's coming out and he's putting on his first year in the league. Looks amazing. Any other year, he probably wins rookie of the year.
Yeah, if they try to say Chet's winning it, he got Wemby has to put on the shirt, the rookie definition.
Yeah.
Yeah, he needs that because Chet did have a year to sit. He had his Mahomes year to sit.
He was also injured.
Yeah.
So I didn't like it when Blake Griffin, but I understand for Chet.
Oh man, we're playing favorites here. All right.
I am.
All right. Well, I mean, that's all we got for today. Let us know in the comments what you guys think about the rookie of the year race, or just basketball in general, the Lakers, everything. Let us know.
Be sure to like. Be sure to drop some comments, and please hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate it. All right. Later.
See ya.